is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds.
The best. I got to give it to him, Bud. The best, right? He hands down. He the best. He the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do.
World champion, as you know, and I've been a 3-division world champion, but I've only won one of the belts. I don't know what it is to be undisputed. I don't know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable.
Stephen A. Smith called out Floyd Mayweather for diminishing Terence Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez. Smith passionately argued that Crawford had achieved something truly historic, becoming undisputed in multiple weight classes, something no one else had done before. He emphasized that Crawford's success is fully earned and deserves widespread respect, rather than downplay. Smith insisted that Crawford's victory wasn't just another check mark, but a career-defining achievement that cements his place among boxing's elite. He also made it clear that Mayweather's critical remarks wouldn't tarnish Crawford's exceptional feat.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance.
Jeff Mayweather didn't hold back when reflecting on the shock loss Canelo suffered at the hands of Crawford. He stated that this defeat would forever be a significant blemish on Canelo's legacy. Once the undisputed ruler of his division, Canelo was seen as nearly untouchable until Crawford moved up in weight and dethroned him on his own turf. Jeff argued this wasn't just a minor setback, but a historic loss that will follow Canelo throughout his career. He underscored how legends are defined by big moments, and for Canelo, this moment turned into a devastating defeat.
But either way, he was in discussion certainly with Chavez. What does this do to his legacy? Because I don't think he caught, the Floyd fight didn't give him, people didn't really look down on, because even though he had 40 fights, he was still, fighting one of the greatest ever and an absolute master in b-ball. He went up weight classes to win. But now he's fighting a smaller guy, a great fighter, but a smaller guy. Does this damage his legacy in any way?
I think it does. I think it does because, the one thing is that, you were ruling, you were the king of that weight class. And a king of that weight class for a good while. And I think that, he had a huge following because, he became the face of boxing.
And even though it's another, future Hall of Famer, still losing, losing a guy come up a couple weight classes, it kind of makes you seem not as great as you might have been.
Stephen A. Smith was visibly moved by Crawford's dominant performance and didn't hesitate to express his admiration. He highlighted that witnessing such a monumental moment in person made it even more powerful. According to him, no one in boxing history had done what Crawford just did, climbing in weight to decisively beat a dominant champion like Canelo. Smith called it a signature moment in Crawford's career and a landmark in boxing history. For him, this wasn't just a victory, it was a redefinition of greatness itself.
This was Terence Bud Crawford moving up 2 weight divisions, really 3 in my mind, because we only fought 1 fight at the junior middleweight division. So he's really moving up from 147 pounds, okay? Terence Bud Crawford moving up to the 168-pound limit in an effort to claim the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world from the grasp of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, I was there because let me tell you something right now. There's very, very few sporting events in the world that are better than a super fight in Vegas. I can tell you that right now. There's very, very few events. Props to Nick Khan of the WWE.
The fight, Crawford's trainer made a firm statement. Crawford has nothing left to prove. Despite dismantling one of the sport's biggest names, the trainer expressed frustration that some still refuse to give Crawford the respect he clearly deserves. He emphasized that Crawford isn't even thinking about his next opponent because this win over Canelo was more than enough to immortalize his career. For the camp, this wasn't about chasing more titles, it was about etching a legacy that no one can question.
Terrence Crawford and his well-renowned trainer, two-time trainer of the year and future Hall of Fame trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, recently did an interview in which Bomac stated that a fight is not happening. And this particular fight is a fight that everybody wanted to see Canelo Alvarez take, and Canelo Alvarez refused to take this fight with a 28-year-old two-division world champion, reigning WBC light heavyweight, former two-time WBC super middleweight, the Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, was one of my favorite fighters and a great person, David, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster Benavidez, who has 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout, stands at 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach and fights at 175. But the entire time David Benavidez was fighting at 168, Canelo Alvarez was brought up and he never accepted the fight. And so with that said, now people are trying to project this fight on Terrence Crawford. And they're saying that Terrence Crawford needs to take the fight. So Bomac yesterday did an interview and Bomac said they're not fighting David Benavidez. And so now people are pushing this notion that Terrence Crawford is ducking and Terrence Crawford is scared of David Benavidez. And if he don't fight David Benavidez, according to Boxing News 24,
Timothy Bradley offered one of the most daring takes, directly comparing Terrence Crawford with Floyd Mayweather. Bradley argued that Crawford now deserves to be considered at the very top of the all-time greats list. He emphasized that the fight wasn't just about beating Canelo. It was about reshaping the definition of pound-for-pound supremacy. While Mayweather was known for his technical brilliance, Bradley believes Crawford proved he could dominate at an even higher level by conquering Canelo at his peak. To Bradley, this win propelled Crawford into the stratosphere of true boxing legends.
It might be too late now. It might be too late, because guess what? He done. Ain't nothing else he needs to do. Ain't nothing else he needs to do in boxing. Yep. Y'all doubt him now? Y'all doubt him now? I saw some of y'all goofies on y'all channels. You come here and you get the real over here. That's what you get over here. You want the real? You want a real breakdown from a real fighter, a Hall of Famer? That's what you do. You come right here and you gonna get the real and you gonna get the truth. Dang it. That's what you gonna get. Leave them other lames alone and come right on over here. Yeah, and get the truth and nothing but the truth. I've been trying to tell y'all for years about this. Been trying to tell y'all for years about Terrence Crawford. Everybody put his resume down.
Roy Jones Jr. provided a thoughtful comparison between Mayweather's win over a young Canelo and Crawford's victory against the veteran version. He pointed out that Floyd fought an inexperienced Canelo who was still developing, while Crawford took on the battle-tested version of Canelo who had already dominated for years. Despite being the smaller man, Crawford managed to break down a far more complete and dangerous Canelo. For Roy, this made Crawford's accomplishment even more impressive and unique.
Generational great in Canelo Alvarez, really 3 weights above his natural weight class. Does that put him in the conversation with the likes of yourself as the greatest fighter of all time?
Yes, it does. And the reason it does is because he couldn't get the credibility down in his own weight class, so he went up to go challenge himself to fight it. And he found a very formidable, good opponent.
Do you think Canelo Alvarez is on the decline or not?
No, I don't think it's on decline at all.
So you think both fighters are still at their peak, even though they're 36, 37?
Yeah, I think they're both still at their peak. The age for Crawford would seem like he may be beyond it, but he hasn't had the fights, the tough fights we have put him there. And the years of boxing for Canelo would have put him in a position where they're about equal. So I think they both are pretty much in a great place. I think they're both still in their primes, and this is the best time to see them fight.
Duke McKenzie was left in disbelief by Crawford's masterful performance. He remarked that Canelo simply couldn't keep up with Crawford's speed, precision, and relentless pressure. McKenzie labeled it one of the most flawless performances he's ever seen in modern boxing. He praised Crawford for not only becoming undisputed, but also proving himself nearly unbeatable against elite competition. With admiration in his tone, McKenzie stated that Crawford has set a bar so high, very few will ever come close to reaching it.
Know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable. He's a 3-time undisputed world champion, and he's beaten the best of the best. Now, for me, there were red flags way before this fight. Not way before the fight. You know, in the build up to this fight, Canelo's body language in the run up to this fight. You know, he turned up in Vegas in his stretch limo, in his Armani suit. He's had his kids and his wife in the back of the car, and he's got out and he's strolling around like he owns the gaff. Now, that all that signified to me was a very comfortable man. He was too comfortable. And Terence Crawford just kept it real from the outset. Tracksuit, no nonsense, went there to win, said what he was going to do, told the world what he was going to do long before the fight. I think he asked for this fight many years ago. The discussion he had with Bill Haney. And I think it was him that actually suggested call out Canelo, which he laughed at the beginning, but then it came to fruition. And now it's come to fruition. I mean, what you saw in that fight yesterday, what I watched in that fight yesterday, it was for the purists. It really was, because you really have to try and understand boxing and know what you're looking at. It was the feints. It was the way that he handled the bigger man. It was the little feints, the little side steps, the little flicking with the jabs, you know, hitting him with the head and the body, the little combinations, the little 2s and 3s. And also with Crawford, knowing how to close a round, knowing how to win rounds.
Trainer Robert Garcia gave high praise to Crawford, suggesting that his win over Canelo might surpass anything Floyd Mayweather accomplished in similar circumstances. Garcia noted that Crawford dominated 9 or 10 rounds and showed a level of hunger and risk-taking that Mayweather never displayed at this weight. He stressed that Floyd never accepted the kind of challenge Crawford did, moving up to decisively defeat a bigger, stronger champion. For Garcia, it wasn't about stats, it was about courage. And that's what truly separates the greats from the legends.
Canelo has already accomplished too much, has already done too much, and he wasn't, I don't see that hunger in him anymore. I don't see those changes anymore. He fights flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. He's not fast anymore, and that's why I picked Crawford by decision.
Are you surprised how easy it was?